Hello, and glad to have you here. Today is day 4 of the 14-day online crew video challenge with Helen Martin. And today our topic is supposed to cover something personal, a personal story that had big impact in our lives. And so my big impact, I consider my blessings, and it's how a mother, a person who was the single, ended up with two awesome kids. And before I go any further, though, and because getting them was not as easy as one might think, or, maybe some people don't think that, but just want to, get that out there. So I'm going to tell my story and hope that you get from it what I have in my heart, because my heart is full whenever I talk about my kids. Um, Let me introduce myself first. My name is Cherie Woodard, and I help entrepreneurs and business builders to be able to come online, use social media to get prospects, leads, and sales in their business. And I help them do that in a variety of ways. I use attraction marketing, lead generation, video marketing, branding, as well as other updated, modern, and trending strategies and tips. So that is basically what I do. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So I want to say this now, and then I'll say it. Hopefully, remember to say it towards the end. But basically, I want you to, if you have any questions or comments or anything, please make sure to drop them in the chat. Whether you can be here with me live or whether you catch this on the replay, I hope that it's something that just gives you something to think about. It's kind of like maybe reading a book, or, you're finding out something about me that maybe you didn't know, and how it actually really impacted and changed the trajectory of my life. Um, so we'll go from there. So, and remember, you can always, if you have questions, direct message me, and I can answer them, or we can go a little deeper. All right. So basically, I have been married and divorced with no children from that union. And I can remember, you know, I remember when I was a kid, I remember my Aunt Margaret was around, and she would see me with, my brothers and sisters, and how I cared for them and how I just loved them. And she noticed that about me, and she said this, though, and I'll never forget it. And I've thought about it over the years. Even when I don't want to think about it, it still pops in my head. But she said, it's really sad. She said, people who really, really want kids are usually the ones that end up unable to have them. And this was way back in the day. I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was, but I was somewhere between 6 and 10 or something like that. And I had little brothers and sisters, so I was changing diapers and holding babies, feeding them, my brothers and sisters, and just having a good time doing it. I just loved it. And didn't like dunking the diapers in the toilet, though. Back in the day, they didn't have these plastic, rip off, throw them in the trash, put a new one on. Back in the day, you had those cloth diapers, and you had to dunk them in the toilet to get the poop out. So that wasn't something that I really liked, but it was a part of, taking care of my brothers and sisters. And I just enjoyed it so. And I remember she when she looked at me, I guess she saw that and she had that to say. And that's something that probably the way that I think now, I didn't think that way then. So it was probably something like one of those type self-limiting beliefs. I listened to what she said, and then over time, over my life, I didn't have kids. And didn't have kids when I got married. Just, it was like something that I just couldn't seem to do. So let me get on to the story. So after that time, I continued to take care of my brothers and sisters, became like the little second mom, the weekend mom. And, my mom would, go and do her thing and, try and, because she had seven of us. And we were all seven of us in one home, and she was a single mom, um, divorced twice. And, so she just had us, and our other two older siblings were already out of the house, so it was just the seven of us. There's a total of nine of us. And so I went about taking care of the kids, doing what I was supposed to do. As soon as I come home from school, I'd get the babies and do whatever, and just take care of them, change their clothes, give them baths, do the whole thing. So I really love children. And as I continued on in my life, I thought maybe I'll have five, maybe I'll have four, maybe I'll have six kids, and I'm like steadily thinking this, as I'm walking through my life. But maybe in the back of my head, in the back of my mind, I still remember what my auntie said. And so who knows what that actually did to me? I don't know. Maybe it didn't do anything. Maybe it just, even though I, wanted these things, maybe it just did something to kind of put like a little hex on it or a cross on it or whatever, something that says that this is not really something that you can have. I don't know. When I look back, you can only wonder. But after several years, I was in my 40s, and I really still wanted children. And I prayed and prayed about it because I was divorced by 37, and still wanted children, and just decided that I would do it alone. My mom was a single mom, and I thought, I can do this. And I started putting in applications, to the state, and I put in application for Lutheran Family Services back in the day, and they had babies then, so they put me in like one of their files, and what I had put on the paper that I would accept. And I was kind of listening to people, oh, you make sure you get a girl, don't get a boy, don't get boys, get a girl, so on and so on. And I was like listening to this, but as I started walking closer with God, and becoming more aware of just, I wanted children. I didn't care if it was male or female. I didn't. I just wanted them to be born healthy because I knew I was going to be a single parent, and I was a registered nurse at the time, working, in a hospital, in various areas of the hospital. So I stopped with the girl thing. I put my application away for a while and just prayed about it and just asked God, if this is what you see for my life, then please make it so, because I really, really want children. And I don't care if you give me boys, or a boy or a girl, at the time, because that was my first child. And I said, I really don't care if it's a boy or a girl. I just want it to be born healthy, because I'm going to be a single parent, unless that changes. But I didn't see anything like that was going to change. I wasn't dating, so on and so on. I was working pretty hard. And so I pulled the application back out one day, filled it out, and change the girl to boy, or any child that's healthy, that's born healthy, not addicted, yada yada. And as I turned my application in. I got a social worker, and so she and I would have conversations, and we did the home study, and we did all of the other questions. I was in and out of the office. There was so much paperwork, mounds of paperwork for adoptions, and especially back in the day. Computers were around, but it was like, still not a real big thing as far as I knew. And so I finally, I'm sorry, let's see, I'm already up at, okay, let me move on, because I don't want to, I want to be respectful of your time. And this story is just like one of the best things in my life. And I want to do it justice, but I think I'm starting to chatter a little bit because I'm a little anxious and I'm a little excited. And so anyway, um, so paperwork done, finished up around like November, handed it in, talked to her in December. January came around. She said that there was somebody looking at my application. And then on the 14th of February, I was told that they had a little boy in care, and that I had been chosen to be, by the mom, to be his parent if I wanted to. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, all I could do was say, oh my God. And I was running around my bedroom. And I forget, I know I had injured myself, or I had surgery or something, but I was having difficulty stepping on my left foot. So it was either the time that I broke something or that I had surgery. The long short of it is, I was like just running around my room going, oh my God. Oh my God, I'm going to be a mom. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was so excited. I was so excited. And you couldn't wipe the smile off my face, and then I went to work, and I told all my friends and all my, other people that I worked with, and everybody was all excited. And then I got him the day after President's Day. And to go and actually have this little chunk in my arms was so exciting, and it was so delightful. And a friend of mine was with me, and so we ended up, I got to sit in the back seat with him, and in the baby car seat. And my girlfriend was like just cracking up because she had never seen me, like buzzing around like that before, and trying to keep the sun out of his face, even, it was like coming through the back window, and he was like facing the front, but it was like on his head. So I was trying to cover up his head. I just remember her laughing so hard. And she was like, are you, you're actually trying to keep the sun off the child's head. He's in a car seat. He's going to be fine, Cherie. It's just, so anyway, we got home, and, it was a real big hullabaloo. And, my friends came over to see him, and it was just awesome. It was so exciting. One of the best days of my life. One of the best days of my life. And then as time went on, my son started asking if he could have a brother. He wanted to have a brother. I was already actually doing the paperwork because I didn't want to have just one child. I wanted to have two or more. Well, I'm glad I stopped at two. But anyway, so then paperwork for the second one, same thing. I didn't care if it was a boy or a girl, just so it was born healthy. And and I get this call on December 7th and that my boys were about 5 years apart. And so I get them and get him in this little ceremony, and and I kind of remember seeing this lady go by, and I thought she looked familiar, but I was so excited, and I was like, I know I was actually on crutch. I had like one of those boots that, keeps you from bending your foot and what have you. So I know I had a boot on that day for whatever I had done to my foot. Who knows? It was always something. And so I'm like, just leaning at the door waiting because the ceremony, we talked with, my older son and made him feel really good about being a big brother, yada yada yada. And then we went to Dave. I mean, my older son got to go see my youngest son, David, and then he got to come out and say, "Mommy, David's coming, David's coming." And so as David was coming out, like I said, this lady passed me and she looked familiar, but I didn't have really time to check that out. So I was like, whatever, I'm just looking for, this baby to come through the door. And when the door opened, when I saw my second son, I was so elated, and when I saw who was holding him, I was even more elated, and I just felt God had my prayers had been answered, and I was just like, I mean, I had my hands up in the air. I turned away from them and just started praising God with my hands up. And I was like, tears were just rolling down my face. So no one knew what to do. And finally, my the person that was holding him, she walked around to me and said, "Cherie, here is David." And as she was saying that to me, I looked down, I brought my hands down, I picked them both up, swung them around, and then I took David and I was just mesmerized. And I sat and I held him and they were talking to me, but I was like way on cloud nine. And it was like God had just answered all the prayers that I had asked. I said, I want to make sure I'm in your will. I want to make sure that if this is not for me, if you don't have another son for me, if you don't have another child for me, if that's not the way that you have for my life to go, then please, just, make close every door or open every door so that it's clear to me that this, is what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm not. And so when I saw that my son David had the same foster mom that my son had, my older son Taylor had when he was, a baby. So it's like 5 years ago in a city. I live in the U.S. in the Midwest, and it's huge. So I mean, how could they end up with the same foster mom? It just was uncanny. And to me, that was God speaking to me. It was him telling me, yes, this is your son. Yes, I have your back. I just, threw this in just to let you know this doesn't happen. This is not a coincidence. This is the real thing. So I was just so elated. I mean, and I stayed on cloud nine for a long time, and I love my boys. I will always love my boys, and they have made such a big impact on my life. They made me want to be a better person, even better than I thought that I was already being. They made me want to, just be the best ever that I could be. I mean, I it's hard to verbalize, but it was just I wanted to be the best mom that I could be. And I knew that I, wasn't perfect, but, I was going to do the best that I could for my boys. So that is my story. That is a story that impacted my life. Had I stayed childless, I don't know what I'd be doing now. But I know that my life was so much, is so much, will continue to always be richer and more full with having these two kids be my children and have my name, and I raised them. And so my oldest should be 25 soon, and my youngest just turned 20 in September. So that is my story. I'm sorry that it's really long, but this is it had such an awesome impact on my life there's no telling what I'd be doing, but, would I be as happy even with the ups and downs of life? Would I still be as happy? I mean, I am happy. I'm so happy to have had these kids. So that is it. I'm gonna go on and stop now. I hope that this was something that you know made you feel as good as I feel, and like it's like popped me up, I'm like all excited. And so anyway, I'm gonna go on and get whoops, there goes my notes. I'm gonna go on and get off of here. Thank you for listening. I hope that it was worth it. And talk soon. I will be on my personal page tomorrow, and I will continue on with the 14-day online crew video challenge with Helen Martin. Talk soon. Bye now.